ഓക്കെ ഓക്കെ അപ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്യാം. അവിടെ നെറ്റ് കുറച്ച് സ്ലോ ആണ്, അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് ലോഡായിട്ട് വരാത്തത്. ഓക്കെ ഓക്കെ, സോ നമ്മുടെ ഫസ്റ്റ് മൊഡ്യൂൾ, ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് എൻവയോൺമെന്റ് എഞ്ചിനീയറിംഗ് 1. ഓക്കെ, സോ സ്റ്റുഡൻസ്, വെൽക്കം ടു എൻവയോൺമെന്റ് എഞ്ചിനീയറിംഗ്. സോ നെറ്റ് കുറച്ച് സ്ലോ ആയിരുന്നു, അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് കുറച്ച് ഡിലേ വന്നത്. ഓക്കെ, എന്നാൽ വി ക്യാൻ സ്റ്റാർട്ട്. സോ എൻവയോൺമെന്റ് എഞ്ചിനീയറിംഗ് തന്നെ ബേസിക്കലി ദിസ് ഈസ് എ തിയറി സബ്ജക്റ്റ്, പിന്നെ കുറച്ച് പ്രോബ്ലംസും ഉണ്ടാവും. ഓക്കെ, അപ്പം ബേസിക്കലി ദിസ് ഈസ് എ സ്റ്റഡി ഓഫ് എൻവയോൺമെന്റ്. ഓക്കെ, so we'll see what it is. So first module consists of introduction to environment, sources of water supply, water demand, quantification of water demand through population forecasting, factors affecting consumption, and fluctuations in demand. Okay, so we can start the module now. So coming to the first module, we'll go to the introduction. So introduction എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഫസ്റ്റ് ഇയർ എൻവയോൺമെന്റ് എഞ്ചിനീയറിംഗ്, it actually deals with the science and engineering principles to how to deal with the environment, how to deal with the water management. Okay, so here the main object is the water management. Okay, so water is one of the most important element nowadays nalla, throughout the time, throughout the history of the human. So how to maintain a proper supply of water and how to use the water properly. Okay, so environmental engineering actually deals with the science and engineering principle. Its objective is to improve the natural environment to provide a healthy water, air, land, to remediate the pollution side. Okay, so pollution is one of the biggest problem nowadays we are facing. We are having land pollution, we are having air pollution, we are having water pollution. Okay, so how to tackle all this pollution and how to improve the natural environment. Okay, so the natural environment provides you a healthy environment. Okay, so people are getting different types of skin diseases, people are getting diseases through water. Okay, so these are because of the pollution that has been affected. So how to improve the natural environment? Next is water supply engineering is a branch of environmental engineering, and it deals with planning, designing, construction, operation, and maintenance of water supply system. Okay, so this environmental engineering is having different branches. Okay, it is split into different streams. Okay, one such stream is water supply engineering. Okay, water supply engineering. So from the name itself, we can understand that it is something dealing with the water supply. Okay, it is something that is dealing with the supply of water. Okay, so here the water supply engineering, it deals with a proper planning, designing, construction, operation, and maintenance of water supply system. Okay, so we know so in Kerala we don't have that much problem of water scarcity, because in each and every home there will be a well or a bore well. Okay, we are taking water from the well, but there are areas where the wells or the bore wells cannot provide water. People depend upon the water supply system. Okay, people are depending upon the water supply system. Okay, if you go to north and all, you can see the people mostly they depends upon the government, that is the water supply system. Okay, so how to operate this water supply system and maintain this properly. Okay, so here this is a schematic diagram of a water supply scheme. Okay, this is a schematic supply of water supply scheme. Okay, so the water supply scheme, so mainly if you go to the sources of water, mainly we are having two sources, that is surface sources and subsurface sources. Okay, mainly we are having two sources. If you go to the sources of water, mainly we are having two sources, that is surface sources and subsurface sources. Surface source means what? The water which is having its source on the environment, or you can say the source is in the earth surface ലായിരിക്കും അതിന്റെ source ഉണ്ടാവുക. Okay, and if the water is coming from the below the earth surface, if the water is coming from the below the earth surface, it is called as subsurface sources. Okay, now the sources is again of different types, that is you can see ponds and lakes. That's an example of surface sources, ponds and lakes. Okay, so they are on the water that is on the surface of the earth, you can see. Okay, ponds and lakes are on the surface of the earth, like rivers and streams. Okay, rivers and streams. Next one is reservoirs, impounding reservoirs. Okay, reservoirs, this every dam is associated with a reservoir. Okay, reservoir means it is an artificial storage of water. Okay, if there is excess of water in the rivers or streams, or if during the floods, if there is any excess of water, you will be storing that water. Okay, so that artificial storage is called as reservoirs. Okay, now coming to the subsurface water. In the northeastern. Hello. Mr. and Mrs. Okay, coming to the subsurface sources. Subsurface source means the water which is coming from below the earth surface. That is, its origin is from below the earth surface. Okay, now subsurface sources mainly of two types, that is springs and wells. Okay, springs, wells. Okay, so you know what is a springs, you might have seen this springs, right? Springs. Well also you know. Okay, well also you know. Next one is infiltration galleries or infiltration wells. Okay, so this infiltration galleries and infiltration wells is mostly you can see in northern places. Okay, so infiltration galleries means they are the horizontal well. Okay, they are horizontal well which is constructed below the earth surface. Okay, that is infiltration galleries means they are actually the horizontal well, they are actually horizontal well which is constructed below the earth surface, that will be mostly near a river, near the bank of a river. Okay, see, where the near the bank of the river you can see a horizontal river that is constructed, sorry, horizontal well that is constructed. So such wells are called as infiltration galleries. Okay, that is called as infiltration galleries. Okay, so these are the different types of subsurface springs, wells, and infiltration galleries. Springs, I think you know, that is in Malayalam we'll say Neerorva. That is springs. Okay, Neerorva. So that is actually Neerorva, that is actually having their origin below the earth surface. Okay. Now again, this is of different types. Okay. Now again, this impounding reservoirs, or you can say this is they can classify to different types: artesian wells, duct wells, driven wells, tube wells. Again, tube well is also of different types: shallow wells and deep wells, and okay, intakes or different types of the sources are there. Okay, that we'll see in detail. Okay, just telling you in general. Okay, these are the main divisions. That is, the source of water is mainly divided to two, that is surface sources and subsurface sources. Surface sources is again of different types, that is ponds are there, lakes are there. Ponds means they are actually artificial water. There is a static water. Okay, ponds and lakes are there actually artificial, or you can say they can be artificial or they can be natural. So water is they are static waters. They are not moving. Ponds and lakes, but they both are not moving. കെട്ടിക്കിടക്കുന്ന വെള്ളങ്ങളാണ്. They are not moving. Okay. The next one is rivers and streams. Natural streams are and impounding reservoirs. Okay. Next, subsurface is again of two types, that is springs, wells, and again one more type is that infiltration galleries. So infiltration galleries means they are the horizontal well which is constructed below the earth's surface near a river bank. Okay. So the details we'll see, anyway I'll show you a picture. So infiltration gallery will be a new topic for you, and I will teach you in detail later. Okay. Now coming to the, if you go to the water intake of the water, we cannot directly use the water that we are getting from the ground surface. We need to apply some kind of treatments. Okay, you need to apply some kind of treatments. Whether if it is a borewell also, you cannot directly take the water. Okay, if it is a whether the water is from any rivers or streams, you have to do some treatment process to purify the water, because in rivers and streams you can see there will be a lot of colloidal particles or there will be a lot of suspended particles because it is exposed to nature. Okay, if you go to the ponds or lakes also you can see, okay, it will be having a lot of colloidal particles, it will be having a lot of suspended particles. So water is not fit for drinking. Okay, water is not fit for drinking. Okay, so you can see in the mainly department like water authority department or any other department, they will first treat the water. Okay, they will treat the water and make it so that the customer can use it properly. Okay, so what are the different types of treatments that we are doing in the water? So first one is aerations is there, sedimentation is there, filtration is there, disinfection is there, and miscellaneous. That means many other are there. Okay, aeration means that you are providing oxygen to the water. Okay, you are providing oxygen to the water. So during this aeration, what will happen is that if there is any color or if there is any bad odor, is there, that will be gone. Okay, that is to remove any color or odor. We are doing this aeration process. Aeration means it is a process where the water is subjected to air, that is oxygen. Oxygen will be supplied to water in a controlled manner. Okay, so details we'll study later, just understand the concept what it is. Okay, aeration, that means supplying of air, that is oxygen will be supplied in a controlled manner, that is to remove any bad taste or odor or any other things, etc., color, etc. Next one is sedimentation, that is the water will be having smaller particles, larger particles. Okay, so if you allow the water to stay for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, these particles will settle down due to its weight. Okay, these particles, the particles that is present in the water will settle due to its own weight. So that process is called as sedimentation. So if there is some any big particles, if there is any steel pieces, and if there is any, you can see any stones that is floating in the water. Okay, so that kind of matter, if there is any such matters, if you allow the water to stay for a few minutes or you can say few hours, these particles due to its weights will settle down. So that is called as sedimentation. Next one is filtration. Filtration means the water will be allowed to pass through different layers. The water will be allowed to pass through different layers, and each layer may, one layer maybe will be composed of some kind of sands, another layer will be gravels, or another layer will be some kind of clays. Okay, so when the mainly fine sands will be using for the filtration. Okay, so water will be allowed to pass through different types of layers, and these layers will be trapping all the particles in the water. So that is called as filtration. Okay, or filtration or sieving problem. Next one is disinfection, that is you're killing all the pathogenic bacteria or the pathogenic organisms in the water, present in the water, so that it is fit for drinking. That is disinfection. Okay, so after the disinfection, it will be supplied to the customer. So you can see this is a water supply system. As you see now, this is a water supply system. Okay, so in this picture, you can see this is the water supply scheme. Okay, this is the so this is a sorry. So this is a water supply, and this is water from the water supply. The water is going to a treatment plant. Okay, and from this treatment plant, the water will be properly treated. But all the impurities in the water will be removed. After that, it will be stored. Okay, after that it will be stored here, and it will be having a distribution system, and through these pipes or any other distribution channels, it is distributed to the customers. Simple, right? That is, there will be storage of water, or you can say any natural sources water supply. From here, in water will be taken to a treatment chamber. After the treatment, water will be stored, and from the storage plant, it is properly distributed to the customers. Okay, so now here we are dealing everything in detail. That is mainly sources of water. Two sources of water are surface source and subsurface source. Okay, technically, how you define a surface? Okay, surface means we can say the run of water that is available on the earth crust. Okay, the run of water that is present on the earth surface is called as surface source. Okay, so mainly surface source means lake, ponds and rivers and storage reservoirs. Okay, this is a lake. So what do you mean by a lake? So lake means it is a natural lake which represents a large body of water within the land with impervious bed. Okay, the flow of the water is quite ample in rainy season and become less in hot season. The catchment of both are very less, hence the quantity of water available is also very less. So they are not considered as a primary source of water. Okay, so lake means they are actually, what do you mean lake? തടാകങ്ങൾ. Okay, they are the natural lake which represent a large water body with impervious bed. That is, the bed below this will be impervious. It will not be allowing water to pass through it. Okay, so as you are seeing in this here in the picture, you can see this is a water body. Okay, so this below the water body there will be a bed. Okay, and this bed will be impervious like this. I'll show you. Okay, this you will be knowing all these things. So this is the layer. So the water will be above this. Okay, so water body will be above this. Okay, so this is the lake as you're seeing in the picture. Okay, and this is the bed of the layer where lake is like, and this bed will be impervious. That is, it won't allow the water to pass through it. Okay, so because of this feature, due to the rainy season, the flow will be very high. It will be having a very high flow, and during the summer seasons it will be water will be very less. Okay, water will be very less. But if you say as a source of water, lake is not considered as a constant source of water. We cannot depend on the lake all the time because it depends upon the seasonal variation. So the water in the lake, or you can say the catchment in the lake, depends upon the seasonal variation. Okay, so we cannot rely on the lake all the time. But mostly for the hilly areas, the lakes are taken as a source of water. Okay, lake mostly in the hilly areas and small towns, lake is taken as a primary source of water. And one another feature is that the lake water will be having less impurities. Okay, the lake water will be having less impurities. Come to the next one is pond. Pond means they are static waters. Okay, that is water which is not moving. Okay, that is an artificial lake. That is actually a man-made water body, man-made static water body. So this is much more. The quantity of water will be much smaller than lake here. The formed due to excessive digging of roads and houses, etc., filled up with rainwater. The quantity of water will be very less and it contains many impurities and it cannot adopt for the water supply scheme. Okay, mainly it is used for washing clothes, bathing, etc. Okay, so ponds are there actually a water bodies which is formed by the digging of roads or houses or etc. Okay, maybe due to digging of the roads or houses, some kind of digs will be formed or at least some trenches will be formed. Okay, so during the rainy season it will be filled up with water. So that is how ponds are made. Or another way is that the human will be making man ponds. അത് കുളം കുഴിക്കും. Okay, man will be excavating, people will be excavating a big trench, and this trench will be filled with water during rainy season. Okay, so one of the important feature of this pond is that technically if you see it contains a lot of impurities. It is a static water body and it contains a lot of impurities, and the quantity of water will be very less because it depends upon the rain. We cannot rely on this all the time. Okay, so it may or may not be adopted for a water supply scheme. Now, another thing is that mainly this is used for washing clothes and animals. If you go to the Tamil Nadu side, you can see such ponds. Okay, you can see some this kind of ponds. So where women will be washing their clothes. Okay, so mainly this type of ponds are used for washing clothes or bathing animals, some etc. Washing vehicles like that. Next one is another important thing, that is rivers. Okay, so rivers is one of the major source of water supply scheme. Which river is one of the major source of water supply scheme. So technically, if you see, we can see that most of the water department, authority department, they will be taking water from rivers because they are the perennial sources of water. So perennial means throughout the year water will be flowing. Perennial means throughout the year water will be flowing. So what do you mean by non-perennial? Non-perennial means the rivers which will be having water only during the rainy season, or you can say monsoon season. In summer season water will be very less or it will be dried partially. Okay, so rivers are one of the major source of water supply schemes, and rivers are mainly of two types, that is perennial rivers and non-perennial rivers. So perennial rivers means they are having water throughout the year. ഒരു വർഷം മൊത്തം വെള്ളം ഉണ്ടാവും. Coming to non-perennials, like for example you can say Bharatapuzha. Okay, you see Bharatapuzha, during the summer season the river will be drained off. വെള്ളം വളരെ കുറവായിരിക്കും. Okay, so that is non-perennial. That is, if there is only rain, the water will be available. During the summer season, water won't be there. Okay, so that is perennial. Perennial means that is which does not dry in the summer season. That is water flows through all the season. Non-perennial means it dries in summer season either wholly or partially, and it will be the non-perennial rivers will be having water during a heavy floods. Okay, excess of water in the monsoon can be collected by constructing dams across them. Okay, if there is any excess of water is there, it can be collected for the construction of dams also. So during the flood time, you can see there will be a lot of water. There will be excess of water. So during such time, you can collect this water for constructing any type of dams or for any storage reservoirs. Next one is most important thing, that is storage reservoirs. Okay, so this you can see with any dams. So every dam it will be associated with a storage reservoir. Storage reservoir is made to store that to is meant to flow barrage across this river, and we have diverted the water flow. Okay. that is for a purpose of storing. So this is called as a storage reservoir. Okay, so construction of dams across stabilize the flow water. Okay, so you know why we are constructing dams. Okay, we need water for the hydroelectric power. We need water for the navigation, for the tourism purpose, for the supply of water quantity of water. Okay, so the water that and the navigation for the purpose of tourism. Okay, or or we can say that if you want to supply water to a village or a panchayat, you need an abundant quantity of water. Okay, so for that what we're doing is that we'll be constructing dams. Okay, so for the dams we'll be having an artificial storage that is called as reservoir. So here you can see we have constructed. Okay, so this type of storage is called as storage reservoirs. This type of storage is called as storage reservoir. Okay, so here you can see throughout the year the water will be available and it will be available in a large quantity. Throughout the year water will be available and it will be available in a large quantity. Okay, so dams, they are mainly meant to hold the water. Okay, then you can use it for the hydroelectric power, you can use it for the water supply schemes, etc. etc. A lot of use are there. Okay, and the dams will be provided with a spillway. Okay, there will be a spillway below the dams to control the flow of water. That is, if there is excess of water in this dams, this excess of water has to be released. Okay, so this excess of water will be released through a spillway. Okay, that is a constant level of water will be maintained. If there is floods, the water will be excess. So if excess of water means it will be very difficult to hold water. So the hydraulic pressure of the water will be very high. The chances that dam may collapse. So in such cases, in case of floods or if any excess of water, we are providing spillways. Okay, spillways will be provided along the dam to control the flow. Okay, and also on this bottom they will be providing a grip chamber. So at the flow bottom we can see the incoming portions will see in bottom part portion, that is flow of water. To regulate the flow of water, that is this much of quantity of water or this much of quantity of water has to be removed or this much of quantity of water has to be input. Okay, so all these regulations will be done by grade. If there is excess of water, the spillways of the dams will be the shutter of the dam will be open. It indicates that there is excess of water. There will be mostly on the top. Okay, it will be here. Okay, the shutters will be open and through this water will be flowing. Sources of underground water sources. Okay, so here what is happening is that water will be percolated into the ground and it is brought to surface. Okay, so here mainly two processes occur, that is filtration and percolation. Okay, so infiltration and percolation. So imagine this is the earth surface. Okay, imagine that is earth surface. Infiltration means if there is any excess of rain, or you can see if there is a rain is occurring, a portion of this rainwater, you can say a major portion of the rainwater will be flowing as a runoff. Major portion of this rain will be flowing as a runoff, and another portion of this rain water will be entering into the ground surface. Another portion of this rainwater will be entering into the ground surface, and this is called as infiltration. This is called as infiltration. This entering of water into the ground surface is called as infiltration. This you might have observed that mainly during the monsoon season, your well's water level will be increasing. The water in the well will be increasing. Okay, water level in the well will be increasing. Why? Because infiltration is occurring. The water is entering into the ground. So water table. The water table will be rising. If here it is the water table, see water table. So here it is a water table. Here. Okay, water table, the level is rising. Because of that, why? Because of infiltration. Because of the infiltration that is occurring. Okay. Another one is below the earth surface. It will be gravel like. Okay, maybe here some fine sands are there. Here it will be fine sand. Okay, here it will be coarse sand. Okay, so if you go to the below the earth, if you see the profile of the earth surface, it will be composed of different layers. One layer will be gravel, other layer below that it will be coarse sand, below that it will be fine sand, and different types of different layers of sand will be there. Okay, so percolation of water. See this percolation means the movement of the water. See the water is there. The movement of the water through these void spaces. Okay, this is the gravels. Okay, so this gravel, this is the empty spaces. If you go to the fine spaces, closely packed particles. Particles will be closely packed. Okay, if you see the coarse sand also, it will be having medium sizes. Medium size particles. Okay, so the movement of the water. Okay, so movement of this water. See the movement of water between the void spaces is called as percolation. Okay, the movement of water into the below the ground surface. Movement of the water below the ground surface between these sand particles is called as percolation. Okay, so try to understand the difference between the percolation and infiltration. Infiltration means the water, the runoff water or the excess of rain will be entering into the ground surface. That is called as infiltration. Next one is percolation means the movement of this water between the sand particles below the earth surface. That is percolation. Okay, so here in this picture you can see the first layer, it is composed of some gravels. After that you are having a fine sand layer. After that you are having a coarse sand layer. Okay, so this between the spaces between this gravel is high. Okay, so here water is moving very freely. Coming to the fine sand, it is very closely packed. The packing is very close. Okay, so only a less void spaces. So water will be struggling to pass through the voids. Okay, so this type of movement of water is called as percolation. Now, mainly subsurfaces for us mainly four types, that is infiltration galleries, infiltration belts, springs, and wells. Okay, so what do you mean by infiltration galleries? Okay, you can pause your name to mark attendance now. You can continue next class.